Good morning and welcome to a new series I'm starting called Get Your Shit Together, in which I, Megan, get my shit together. And you can too. Feel free to follow along, stitch this with what you're doing, and I'd love to see it. Basically, I'm one of those people that has a never-ending to-do list. Stuff gets added to it way more than it gets done. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So every day I'm going to choose one thing from my giant list. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show me doing it so that you can tell I actually did it. And this is not going to be something that I normally do. This is an extra thing. I'm also going to be doing all my normal stuff because that's what I have to do in order to continue being a person who looks like a grown-up. So there we go. Follow along if you're interested. Let's get our shit together. All right, welcome to day one of Get Your Shit Together, the TikTok series where I get my shit together. This is day one, which means my first thing to do is make sure that my giant, crazy, unending, forever to-do list is actually up to date. There is stuff that is just living in my noggin and not living on the list, which is not what we want. So first thing, I'm gonna go in and update it. My giant to-do list lives in Notion, which you will have seen probably if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, but I went in, added everything into it that was just sitting in my head, and now I have 122 things to do. Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Get Your Shit Together challenge, in which we get our shit together. We do this by picking one thing off our long-term to-do list, and we get it done. I'm not really looking forward to today's item, even though it is kind of exciting. I basically have to book travel back to New York because my college is finally having its graduation. I graduated in May of 2020, so I was emailed a diploma, and that was it. Anyway, I have to book travel for it, so let's do that. All right, I started out by looking through all of my emails to find the email that had the link in it to where I had all of the information on the graduation ceremony. So that took a little while, and then every time I was trying to click through the link, it wasn't working. So eventually I ended up just having to write a post on our group's Facebook group asking what the heck was going on. Hopefully someone can help me sort it out. But I realized that means I'm not crossing anything off my list today. So I switched gears, and what I'm doing here instead is updating all of the descriptions of my YouTube videos with the link to my Etsy shop, because I want to link to that in my video description. It actually didn't take that long, but I had been putting it off for a long time. Anyway, I'm finally done with that, which means I get to move this from to-do to completed. Hello and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. We do that by choosing one item a day from our long-term to-do lists, and we just get it done. No halfways, no excuses, we just do it. And today is a fun day because I get to play plant doctor. I get to pest treat my plants. Let's go. Okay, so I took all of the plants that had pests in them out to the deck and sprayed them with neem oil. I made sure to cover all the leaves and everything really thoroughly. And then I left them out there to dry a little bit. In the meantime, I got to check this as completed, which was great. And then as a little bonus task, I also planted this mint that I got from a neighbor of mine. It's like a kind of citrus mint thing, and now it lives over here. Hello, and welcome to day 4 of the Get Your Shit Together challenge, in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one item that's been on our to-do list a really long time, and we get that done in addition to all of our usual average daily stuff. Today, let's shave some sweaters. Here's my shavy thingy, here's all my sweaters, and here are the little pills I'm talking about that we're gonna get rid of. I just laid the sweaters flat and ran the shaver over the entire thing, paying special attention to the areas that I know tend to pill up, like under the arms and along the wrists. Then each one got a bath and a soak with some special soap specifically for sweaters, and then I rinsed everything out so the water was clear and there was no soap left in them. And then to make sure you're getting all the water out without twisting the sweaters and misshaping them, all you do is lay a towel on the floor, smack it down, make it a burrito, squish a little bit, and you're ready to hang them up. These babies can now dry overnight, and I get to check this off my list. Hello, welcome to day 5 of Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing that's been on our long-term to-do list and we just get it done. Today's item is something that I've been putting off for a long time. It's basically emailing a bunch of brands that I want to work with for my YouTube channel and seeing if they want to collaborate. And it's a good thing. I mean, my grandma always says you never get what you don't ask for, and I know that she's right, but it also feels a lot like cold calling, so I've been putting it off. But today we do it. And to prove that I actually did it, here is video of me sliding into brands' email boxes and DMs. And I'm not hiding any of the names of these brands because they're ones that I actually use all the time and love. If you've seen any of my YouTube videos, you have seen them. Alright, this is all done now, I've checked it off, but these were actually 4 items, so we did good today. Hello and welcome to day 6 of the Get Your Shit Together challenge, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together by finishing all of the things that we said we were going to do a long time ago and then didn't do. I have already done today's thing, which is scanning in a bunch of receipts that had been sitting on my desk for months. So I'll show you that, as well as the errands that I ran today as a little extra bonus task. Okay, as mentioned, the first thing was scanning in all of these receipts. This is one of those things that isn't actually difficult, but is not fun, so you don't end up doing it. Once I'd scanned them all in, I also renamed all of those files and imported them into Google Drive, which is where we store all of our tax data. And then I got to cross this thing off. Then we braved the aisles of Target, and I'm very proud of myself. I only got the things that were on my list. The same cannot really be said of our trip to Lowe's right after because I bought so many plants. But at least I got to cross that off too. Hey, it's voiceover Megan. I had to remove the sound from this part of the video because I used a proprietary song in the background, and I only have the TikTok version of this, so I had to fully just remove the audio. But this was for day 7 of the challenge, and all I'm saying is that I booked tickets to my college graduation. And this was really good to check off my list because I was worried I wasn't going to be able to do this at all, as you might remember from day 2 of the challenge. So those are the tickets right there. You can see them behind me. The date and time is right here. But anyway, it was another thing done, fully taken care of, off my list. So since it's been a full week of the Get Your Shit Together challenge now, I wanted to just give you a little update. As we all know, I famously started with 122 tasks, and a week later I am now at 115, so I'm right on track, really. In the last week, I've actually crossed 10 things off of my longer term to-do list, but I did also add in a couple items, so that's why it's only showing 7 tasks difference. But still, I'm taking this as a definite win. Hello and welcome to day 8 of the Get Your Shit Together challenge, the 30-day challenge in which, you guessed it, we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that's been on our to-do list a really long time, and we get it done. Since it's Monday today, I chose a very professional task of updating my resume and also posting those updates on LinkedIn. And I've literally been meaning to do this for 6 months now. I finally have to do it. Let's just get it done. I fired up LinkedIn and my old copy of my resume and got to updating. I'm definitely not looking for a new job right now, but I'd like to keep this updated regardless. Edits there were pretty fast, so this is now completed. And then while I was already doing resume stuff, I decided to go in and make some edits that a friend had recommended. This task had been on my list for a year and a half, but now that's done too. Come back tomorrow for more. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which, yep, we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day from our long-term to-do lists, and we just get it done. My thing today is updating the Airbnb listing that my husband and I run. There's 2 subtasks to this. First of all, I have to add a tax identification number to our listing so that our county knows, like, yes, we're actually paying taxes on what we make. And second of all, I have to review the auto-translated listing language in French to make sure that it's actually correct and didn't translate weird and then we're saying stuff that we don't mean. So that's today's thing. Let's watch me do it. Well, plot twist, it turns out that neither of those 2 things actually had to happen. Those identification numbers are only necessary for a certain type of listing, not ours. And editing the French listing language would put us way over the word limit, so that's not necessary either. So neither of those things actually ended up needing to be done, but I still get to take them off my list. Hello, and welcome to day 10 of Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which, yep, we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day from our long-term to-do lists, and we get it fully done. Today's thing for me is hanging a bunch of stuff that I've been meaning to since we moved into our house in August of last year. This includes 1 print in our room and 2 certificates in my office. And yeah, let's watch me get it done. I whipped out my little organizer, which has all of my picture hanging stuff in it. And in 5 minutes, that first print was hanging up in our room. I got to cross that off. My diplomas didn't put up much of a fight either. I'm really glad they're living on the wall and not the floor. And I got to check this off too. Come back tomorrow for more. Good evening and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. Unfortunately, this is an accurate representation of my energy levels today because my uterus is trying to secede from the union. Luckily, I have already finished doing my activities for the 11th day of this challenge, so that's what I'll show you now. My trusty 10-year-old label maker wasn't working, so I took it apart to see if I could figure out the issue. I did manage to get one last label out of it, but we could not save the mother. But at least my tea is labeled now, so I got to check this off. Next, I went into my books to read list, which is also housed in Notion, and I added in a bunch more books that I had been meaning to add to this for a long time. And when I say a long time, I mean 3 years. I added in all the books that had won Nebula Awards for Best Novel, and I now have 543 books in my to-read list. I got to check this one off too. Come back tomorrow for more. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day off our long-term to-do lists, and we get it completely done. Today is day 12 for me, and I'm going to be updating a document that we use to track our expenses so that we can submit it for tax purposes. It is even less fun than it sounds, so let's just get it done. So here's me in Google Sheets, copying everything over and fixing the format of this document. I know I complained about it, but I gotta say, it wasn't actually that bad. And it didn't even take me 20 minutes. And now, it's off my list. Come back tomorrow for more. Good morning, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by finally completing items that have been on our to-do list for a really long time. Today is day 13 for me, and I have to do this fast because I need to leave the house. So I'm going to be updating a Google Doc that my husband put together years ago that has all of his family's recipes and stuff in it. It's a super cool resource for us when we're making food, and I have 6 things to add to it. So I'm gonna do that. Good morning, and welcome to day 14 of the Get Your Shit Together challenge, the 30-day challenge in which, you guessed it, we get our shit together. Today's task is really easy and actually really enjoyable because I get to go shopping. 2 years ago, I placed a big online order and returned most everything I bought, which is pretty normal because stuff doesn't fit right. However, some of the stuff that I returned was final sale, so they could only give me store credit. And that store credit has just been sitting there for 2 years now. So I'm finally using it. And yes, this was actually a task on my list. But now it's done. Come back tomorrow for more. Hello, and welcome to an update on the Get Your Shit Together challenge. So yesterday was day 14, which officially marks the end of week 2 of this 30-day challenge. Very exciting. And I just wanted to share some numbers. So I started with 122 tasks at the beginning of this challenge. And at the end of the first week, I was down to 115. So I had actually finished 10 things, but had added 3 more things, so it came out to a difference of 7. In this past week, I have finished 20 things, and I added 3 things. So we're down 17, and we actually broke 100. So right now, I have 98 tasks on my to-do list. Is that a lot? Yes. Too much? Probably. Is it also a huge improvement? Definitely. If you want to see more progress and keep watching me do things, like and follow. And if you want to follow along with me and want to use the task list that I created, check the link in my bio, it's in my Etsy shop. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. Today is my day 15, and I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff to prepare for my college graduation. You will have seen this on, I think, day 2 if you've been following along. I have been trying to figure out what's going on for a while now. I have to make sure I have all the tickets I need and find my graduation dress. Let's do this. I did manage to figure out the ticket thing, so that's another thing off my list. And I restarted the hunt for a graduation dress. I didn't finish that one though, so as an additional task for today, I did schedule myself a haircut, and it's time, so I'm glad this one is done. Like and follow for more. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which, yep, we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that has been on our to-do list for an embarrassing amount of time, and we get it done, completely. Today is day 16 for me, and I am finally going to be cleaning out my email inbox. This is one of those things where I've wanted to have this be done for the longest time, but I haven't wanted to actually do it. Wasn't that always the case? I find inbox 0 is much easier to maintain than it is to attain, but today we did it. And I get to check this off my list. Like and follow for more. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day from our long-term to-do list, and we get it completely done. Today is day 17 for me, and I'm going to be finding a local chiropractor, because despite my flawless skin, I am in fact closing in on 30, so my neck is always up to something sketchy. This actually didn't take too long, and I was able to schedule an appointment for tomorrow morning. And I get to cross it off my list. While I'm at it, I might as well look for a local doctor as well. I did have to call around to a couple places to schedule this one, but I was able to get an appointment for later this week. It's on the calendar and off my task list. Like and follow for more. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which, yeah, we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that's been on our longer-term to-do list for a long time, and we get it completely done. Today is day 18 for me, and I don't have a lot of time today, so I'm just gonna do something easy. I'm gonna send an email that I've been meaning to send for a full year now. And let me provide a little backstory for this. In the last apartment building my husband and I lived in, there was a recycling bin and a trash bin, but no composting program. It was a huge building with something like 900 apartment units, and I figured if the management company would implement a composting program, it would help reduce the amount sent to landfills, and it could also help make a lot of compost. So I emailed the property manager of the building. I probably won't get the outcome I want just from sending one email, but at least I've started. And now this is off my list. Thanks for watching, like and follow for more, and I will see you tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. Today is day 19 for me, and I had a little bit more time, so I actually got a couple things done. First off, I decided on and ordered my dress for my college graduation. Finally. So I got to take that off my list. Next, I finally made a call that I've been needing to make for about a month. Next, I called another customer service line to make sure that some gifts that I had returned were actually refunded to my account. And it turns out they already had been. So now all 3 of those things are off my list. Like and follow for more. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. Today is my day 20, and I already know what I need to do. I have an Etsy shop where I list the Notion templates that I've created, but I haven't been sending out reminders to people who have bought my templates to leave a review for my shop. So today's task is going to be going into all of these Etsy orders and sending messages to the people who've bought my templates, asking them to please leave a review for my shop. And I think I did this correctly, but I'm still fairly new at it. So if you bought one of my templates and you didn't get a message, or if you did and it came through funky, please let me know, because I could be doing this wrong. I have no idea. But now I can move this task to completed. Like and follow for more. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hello, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day from our longer-term to-do lists, and we get it completely done. Today I'm going to choose something really fast because it is past 10 p.m. and I haven't done my thing yet. So I'm going to set up an account on Credit Karma, which my husband asked me to do like a year and a half ago, and I haven't done. So let's just get it done now, shall we? I can't believe I waited 18 months to cross this off my list, especially when it only took 5 minutes. Like and follow, see you tomorrow. Hello, and welcome to the week 3 recap of Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day challenge in which we get our shit together. So week 3, I was able to cross 13 things off of my list. However, I did also add 5 more things onto my task list. So overall, we have a net difference of 8, which is still pretty good. It's actually better than my first week in the challenge, in which I only crossed off 7, but it is not quite as strong as week 2. But that's okay, I still have more than 1 week left in this, so I'm sure I can make a big dent in what remains. Follow along to see the final number. Hello, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. Today is day 22 for me, and I know exactly what I want to get done. I am a person who makes piles, and unfortunately there has been one on the side of my desk forever. But a person who has their shit together would not have a messy desk. So let's clean this up. Okay, here's the before. The rest of my desk is clean and yeah, it's bad. But literally sorting through this only took 10 minutes. There was some stuff I had to shred, some stuff I had to file, and some stuff that I just had to put back in its home. I'm so glad that's done, and look at all the sweet, sweet desk real estate I have now. And yes, my planner stays out. I can finally cross this off my list. Like and follow for more. I'll see you tomorrow. Good afternoon, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day from our longer-term to-do list, and we get it 100% done. Today, my task is going to be plant mom related. If you've seen the rest of this series, you know that earlier on I did some pest treating of my indoor plants, but today I need to move some of my plants into bigger pots. They've just outgrown the shoes that they're in. So let's get it done. First off, this little sprig of mint that I had cut has grown roots, so it's time to put him in some dirt. Next is, I don't actually know what this guy is, but he needs more legroom. And finally, my office plant. He's doing pretty well, but this is actually 4 plants in one clump. I pulled out all my plants, planters, and soil and got to work. The first 2 were super easy, but my office plant really gave me a tough time. It turns out that the roots had completely grown together, so I just put him back in the same pot. The mint is happy over here with his friends. This little guy has a lot more space to grow into. And my office plant got to get out and see the world, I guess. Anyway, I'm still gonna check this off my list. Good evening, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that's been on our to-do list a really long time, and we get it completely done. Finally. Today is day 24 for me, and it's been a little bit of a hectic day at work, so I want something more chill. So tonight, all I'm gonna do is go through the photos that I have been storing in Google. I used to have a subscription with them, so I was storing a lot of photos over there, but I recently canceled that subscription. So I need to make sure I move everything that isn't stored elsewhere so that I don't lose it. Let's get it done. I was able to quickly go through everything and save all the stuff that I knew wasn't saved elsewhere. Now this is all done, and I get to cross it off my list. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow for the next thing. Good afternoon, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that's been on our to-do list an embarrassing amount of time, and we get it done. Today is day 25 for me, and I'm actually leaving the house for an event, so I don't have a lot of time. So I'm gonna pick something small, just finding a recipe for granola that I can make at home instead of buying it in plastic bags at the grocery store. This has been on my list for over a year now, and it took me about 5 minutes to actually check it off my list. But at least it's off the list now, and I found a great recipe to try. Come back tomorrow for another thing. Good afternoon, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which, yep, we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day from our longer-term to-do lists, and we get it completely done. Now, today is day 26 for me in this challenge, and I've already gotten it done. So what I did was go through all of the books that I own and haven't yet read. And yes, I basically have a bookshelf full of them. But I added these into my Notion board where I keep all of the information related to the books I want to read, the books I own and haven't read yet, and the books I've read. I started with 92 books on this list, and after adding everything in, I have 171 books. That's almost 200 books that I already own and haven't yet read. So that's a little crazy. But at least I know my books list is up to date now, and I can cross this task off my task list. I'll see you tomorrow for another thing. Good morning, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that's been on our to-do list a really long time, and we get it done. Today is, somehow, day 27 for me, but it's also Saturday, and weekends are extremely busy for me, so I have to leave the house. All that to say, today's thing is going to be something small. My thing today was joining an alumni group for my college, and I'm embarrassed to say that this has been on my to-do list for almost a year. And that seems really silly because this entire process took me less than 10 minutes. I found out that graduates of my school have access to a real estate group, which is really cool. So I'm now on the list for that, and I'll get notified about events. So like I said, it only took 10 minutes of my time, and after almost a full year, I got to cross this off my list. Good morning, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which, hopefully, we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that's been on our to-do list for a long time, and we get it completely done. Today is day 28 for me, and I want to cross something off that's been on my list for 2 years now. Let me give you the backstory. When I was living in Paris doing a study abroad program back in 2018, I found these little solid perfume things that I absolutely love. I smelled like a dang rose garden, and I loved it. I bought a couple while I was there, but I have since used all of them, and I can't order from the shop online because they don't ship to the US. So to place an order for this perfume stuff that I love so much, I have to create a package forwarding account. And then that plan fell apart because it turns out they wanted over $100 just to ship it over. So we're gonna wait on that one. But to make sure I still got something done today, I chose an equally fun task on my list and updated this document that reminds us of how to fill in all of the things that we do in our taxes. Hey, so I just finished week 4 of the Get Your Shit Together challenge, and I wanted to share some stats. I started at 90 from last week, and I did add 2 more things to this list. This is fine, this is normal. This means that I started off this week with 92 things on my task list, and I finished 13 things. So that's a net difference of 11 things off my list, never to return. So that means that there are 79 things left on my task list. And that's a lot, yes, but keep in mind that I started with 122. And also keep in mind that I still have like 3 days left of this challenge, so stick around if you want to see the actual final number. Good afternoon, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day from our longer-term to-do list, and we finally get it done. Today is somehow day 29 for me already. I really thought I would have messed up by now, but I'm glad that I haven't. And my background is a bit different today because I'm actually not at home. I am in Manhattan celebrating my college graduation from 2020. This means that I had to get a little creative with today's task and make sure that it was something I could do from our hotel room. All I really did was call the company that managed my old retirement account and tell them that I didn't want them to do that anymore and I would like my money. And I probably don't have to say this, but do not construe this as financial advice in any way. All I did today was tell them I wanted to withdraw my full amount, and I've been putting this off for 1.5 years, so it's only fitting that it took me about 5 minutes. Anyway, this thing is finally done, it's off my list. Thanks for watching, come back tomorrow to see day 30. Good evening, and welcome back to Get Your Shit Together, the 30-day productivity challenge in which we get our shit together. We do this by choosing one thing a day that's been on our to-do list for a really long time, and we finally get it done. Today is somehow the final day of this challenge for me. It is day 30, and to properly bookend this amazing challenge, I am going to do kind of the same thing that I did on day 1. This means I'm just gonna go in to my task list in Notion. I'm going to move stuff out of this list that actually shouldn't be there, but I haven't wanted to touch because it would kind of ruin the numbers of this challenge. And I'm gonna add anything that's sitting in my head. And don't worry, for everyone that's curious, I will be posting final numbers on this challenge as well. Thank you all so much for watching throughout this entire thing, and I will see you when my next challenge starts very soon. Good afternoon, and welcome to the Get Your Shit Together challenge after action report. Those of you who have been following along from the beginning will know that I started with 122 tasks on my to-do list. And the goal was to cross off at least 7 things from this list every week, so 1 thing a day. I also knew, however, that I was going to continue adding things to this list. During my first week, I added 3 items to this list and crossed off 10, bringing me down to 115. During the second week, I again added 3 things onto this list, but crossed off 20, bringing me down to 98. During the third week, I added 5 things onto the list and crossed off 13, bringing me down to 90. During the fourth week, I added 2 things and crossed off 13, bringing me down to 79. In the last 2 days of this challenge, I crossed off 2 more things, bringing me down to 77. However, as my last thing on day 30, I did go through this list again, moving things that shouldn't be on my task list and should instead be housed elsewhere. So my final number at the end of this challenge, coming from 122, is 64. That means I moved 58 things off this list, basically cutting it in half. And this is awesome. The goal, by the way, was never to get to 0. I know that's not attainable for me. It was just to remove some of the backlog of these tiny little things that I'd put on my list and then basically ignored, sometimes for years. And in that respect, this challenge has been truly incredible. These are now 58 things that I don't have to see anymore when I scroll through this task list, which I do daily. Thank you again for watching. Comment below if you thought I was going to get to a different number. And my next challenge is starting soon, so stick around to see what it is.